Hello everyone, welcome back to this video. So this is Python FastAPI. So we have been exploring different ways of securing APIs, Basic Auth, hands-on live. Okay, Python FastAPI, Basic Auth, hands-on, writing and running code.
Yeah, let's get started.
Full
Full REST client plus server, basic authentication we are going to explore with hands-on.
Welcome back to our series on authentication in Python APIs. So far we have learned what basic authentication is, implemented the client using requests library and built a fast API server to handle it.
Now in this part, we are going to connect to the client and the server together in a complete working code example, making a real authenticated API calls using basic authentication. Client and server both we are going to write and run that in live.
In this video, you will see how the client encodes and sends credentials. The server receives, validates and responds securely. Let's jump right in.
Project structure. We will use two files for this demo. In the folder setup is like this. I will have a folder inside that server.py, client.py, and requirement.txt will have three libraries. You should install in your common in your environment. Let's start with the server first.
FastAPI server. Let us open editor and write this code. Run the server.
So here I am having import part and initializing the fast API and security what comes from a call which is received by server, that user ID, password, credentials. On top of it, this is a local database. This also can be maintained in database itself. Okay, so but you also can maintain in environment variables or whichever is best you think. And this is the authentication part, like here we are injecting the dependency injection, like security user ID password is being passed here and all that validation. And here is the public route, which you don't need this particular code while calling it doesn't authenticate anything, but here private route slash private, if you are calling your server URL with slash private, you need to pass username password, otherwise it will send that error. If you pass username password, it will send this particular welcome your username and you have access secure endpoint. In fact, in real time you can write your own implementation in this place. I try to make it more smaller code so that you will be able to do best and only focus on authentication part. So for that purpose I made this code. So let's get into the next module, which is
Client code client.py. Now let's create a Python client that accesses both the public and private endpoints, uses basic authentication for the secure route. Create a file called client.py. Let's open editor and write this code.
So in the editor we are going to write this public endpoint without authentication. How we call this? So actually this URL I am forming here in a variable, string variable. This is a basic authentication. So if I am running locally 127 or like this localhost colon 8000 I can do. If I am running in a public mode, I need to run that 0000 or like a URL you need to produce, but we are not doing that in a production environment. It is like a production ready environment code kind of. Okay, so here on top of it, in the client code only I am trying to pass that private URL also I am trying to authenticate with a specific username and password. Here username and password I am passing instead of hard coding. We can read from command line and then fill the variable and do all this particular HTTP basic auth you can pass here. That's also possible. So this block is private endpoint basic authentication. This block is public endpoint without any authentication. In both we will explore all the combinations in the code. So
Expected output. Accessing the public route.
So just now I have explained, if you are accessing public route with a slash, you will get this message.
Accessing the secure route with API key.
Okay, yeah, so here I put that API key, but it is not API key with basic authentication. In fact, here also if authentication is missing, how the errors will come. So I will be able to do with -u I have put here, right? So -u I have put means it's a basic authentication, not the API key. Okay, I'll correct it in the slides later. Let's get into next.
How this basic auth works. Client side.
Client side request.get sends the credentials using HTTP basic auth and it encodes username :password in base 64 and attaches it in the header.
Server side.
Server side FastAPI reads authentication header using the HTTP basic auth dependency, and we are going to write, and I have already showed you, but let me show. Then it checks the username and security, compares the password. If valid, it returns the message. If not, it returns 401 unauthorized. So this dependency thing I just now spoke. In client side there is no such all the FastAPI related. In server side, all that FastAPI basic authentication we have implemented. Here you see HTTP basic security. The security is pushed to depends. Inside depends I have passed this security. So this security credentials has to be filled. Somebody needs to pass, and this authenticate is also being called inside this place, private route. So you can have n number of routes in your code and you can define all the routes. Under that you can put always username : depends of authenticate. So immediately this authenticate function will be called and code will be executed. Let's get this all we have spoke. Yeah.
Let us open editor and write this code.
Yeah, let's get into the editor. Here I will use two editors. One is VS Code. I will write the client code, and the other code is Python. I will write that server code. Okay, let me create a new Python file. I will create a name server.py. I can write anything in fact, but for now we are doing that server.py, and do the imports, all the imports as we discussed from FastAPI. Import. First we need to check that FastAPI is there or not. Okay, pip list, you see, is the FastAPI installed? There is no FastAPI. I think we need to create a virtual environment and update. Yeah, let me try to create a virtual environment. So here so I am creating an environment .env, or like I will say .env. So it will be a folder source.env and bin activate. pip list. There's nothing in this, and it is expecting us to upgrade pip. Let us upgrade. Let's upgrade pip, and pip is successfully upgraded in my system. And you see, you also do the same way, and make sure your setup is running successfully. And my Python is like almost like latest version. Let me take it's Python 3.x version. What else I need to install this pip install. I can also create a file and run that requirement.txt. Since I showed in the slide requirement.txt, I will do the same way. Okay, so let me go there, requirement.txt, and what the files are there in the requirement.txt. I think you FastAPI, right? FastAPI, ubicar, request. So these three things, and you can also fix the versions. Right now I'm not fixing. Let us fix that also. Okay, pip install -r requirement.txt. It will install whatever is latest, and let us see. Yeah, seems it is installed. Pip list. Oh, it is installed so many things. Here you have FastAPI. Okay, so what is UVCon version? This is UVCon version, and request. This is request, right? So we will fix this version, so in future it will not give any problem, dependency problem. So FastAPI 0.115.12 and UVCon also, let us fix it. So which means yeah, so which means it is installed, and it is good. When I say pip list, it is installed with this version. So if you mention the specific versions in your requirement.txt, that is much better. Oh, it is funny. So it is still asking. I think the configuration issue. Oh no, it is not needed. We need to update configurations. So I must change this. So script is here. So anyway, we will run in this prompt, right? In this prompt only we will run. So we don't have to worry. We don't have to worry on this particular errors. Okay, let me write the code, and let's complete the code quickly. So FastAPI. So depends also, we need to import exception. I think it is better to change the configuration settings. It's Okay, here show all, instead of using this, okay, I think we should have docs or dev. About docs, I might have dev folder. So let me go one by one. User dev, and inside this, I think, like, where is the thing? Learn, happy learning, and this is the place, right? So in this place it is not created. Okay, so where is this created? So you see here dev github learn, inside the .env is created, .env inside .env it is, so it is not showed, right? That is why it is not showing. Add interpreter, add local interpreter, location is .env, right? .env. Bin inside that Python. No, you should select base, not base. You should select like this existing, then it will work. Okay, this is what ours. Okay, now apply means it will not give errors. Oh, so when you select the correct interpreter, all the errors will go off. So this is the learning, you know, right? Now from first FastAPI dot security import HTTP basic and basic credentials, both we need, right? So HTTP exception, why it is giving error? FastAPI import FastAPI depends, so might be spelling mistake. Import, this is a built-in dictionary we are trying to import. Yeah, now I'm creating an app object. FastAPI, I'm creating a, for this class I'm creating an object. Here is a class, right? Built-in class. Inside that applications library, inside somewhere internally, I'm creating an object. On top of it, I'm creating a global variable, and from this HTTP basic, I am extracting the user ID password to this variable. As we created a user DB, okay, I can create user DB as a so user ID can be hello, and password can be welcome 123. See, give a better user ID password, but you don't give like this, just for fun. And user ID is happy, password is happy learning 22 session, or so user ID allies, password is wonderland. Okay, now so you can also make this as a type hint, so it is not it's properly defined, only strings are given like that. But let us focus on our code first, not the constraints more. Okay, so def, so you can write anything. This particular function is user defined function. Inside that you say creds or credentials, you write whatever you feel, but ours is HTTP basic credentials, right? So I'll put this, and inside depends we need to pass this security inside depends. Okay, that's it, we are good now. Inside it, user is equal to creds dot username p password is equal pass. I am simply writing pass pwd. I'll put usr and pwd, so it is better. pw password. Okay, pwd can be present working directory, right? Yes, user, and yes, password. This may be no confusion. Crush dot password, whatever is being returned here, I am trying to maintain in this. Okay, on top of it, this is a function. Okay, in fact you remove this simple function, regular simple function, and if user not in our db, what is there in the db dot users, hello, happy, alice, anything. Okay, but in our presentation we have different names. I'm just trying to make it more generic. Raise, which means if our user is not inside this, I'm raising error. HTTP exception. So we can write status code anything, but you can say 401 or 403, and detail is equal to invalid user. Done. Correct. Now correct pass or pwd. Correct password is equal to what? User db dot get of, if this is not in, it is raising error. If this is in, it will be passed in this, and you are getting this correct password here, right? Now this correct password is got it, and we also need to compare, right? If not, secrets dot compare digest. So to avoid some attacks, we are doing this compare digest instead of comparing directly. Okay, so here we have this password and this original database retrieved password, both we are trying to compare, and if both are correct, if both are not equal, first we are checking the user ID, validating user ID correct or not. Here validating correct or not. Okay, now validating password is correct or not. How do you correct it? So you already wrote this correct password, and you are checking that. If not, you again raise the error, right? Raise same thing. So is it maybe 404, 401 only, 401 only, or whichever authentication error you write. If none of this failed, means you are actually return yes user. Okay, what is it, why it is having problem? Okay, 2 lines you need to put, otherwise it usually give error. That is a FP8 warnings I am getting. So you have wrote all this code, is written. This is a authentication related function is written and variables. Now our URLs. Okay, so inside a public method return, so you are returning a message. What message? Anyone can access this route. Okay, so how do you convert this as a route function at the rate of app means this, here you created app, right? The same variable you need to use app.get. So you want to make the root as a public route, no? So /route. So this is anyone can access without any authentication. We are also not validating any authentication, right? So the same way def this function name, anything you can write. I wrote private rate first and anything you can write, in fact, but inside that you need to write a proper content. Okay, so user name, so I'm writing here username, any variable you can write, but this is mandatorily you want to write a type hint, you can put that it is mandatory a string. If it is failing, it will throw error. Okay, depends the function name authenticate function, right? We need to pass inside this particular thing. Okay, so now we are ready. Here return message welcome. So which one? This username, right? We need to use this username. How are we doing? So each of these routes we need to say as a endpoint, right? So we need to convert this function as a route again. App.get. So we are only defining the get kind of routes, not other things like private. So this private and route, these two things we have defined. That's it. So we wrote the code, and how do you run the server? Let's check here. Okay.
Run the server. You use this command.
Okay, let me run the server and use that command. So here I have server, right? This module name is server.py. So I am putting server colon, and the variable name is app. So I am putting colon app. Okay, so let me run this server. Is it running? Yes, here it is running. So if we try to open, so here I have accessed the public route / right? If I say private, I need to provide user ID password, then it will access. Okay, let me try that also from command line. So I have not put that user ID password, so it is thrown error. Okay, it is logging. When I used that root, it worked properly. You see that, right? Yeah, fav icon, all these things not loaded because we have not provided properly. So we will write the client code now.
Client code client.py. Now let's create a Python client.
Okay, I am switching to other editor to write that Python client. Same folder, same thing. So you see here everything is same. So I will need to activate, right? So source.env bin activate placed. Yeah, same again. You have FastAPI everything, but we need request here, right? So let's quickly write the client code as well and wrap it up. And the client code is pretty much simple, so it doesn't have too much of import request. Okay, and it doesn't need to follow this file name. It can be anything. So why it is like, because it is not configured properly, right? Yeah, doesn't matter, it's not configured. Yeah, don't worry. So we will open in PyCharm if it is not working properly. So base underscore, so we will also import few things, right? Request dot auth import HTTPBasicAuth, right? This is one thing we want to do, right? Base URL is equal to, again the same thing, okay, colon slash slash 127.0.0.1 colon 8000. So this is nothing but we just now accessed, right? We now accessed, right, at this one. No, yeah, here, right? So let me open that again and show you. 1 second. Here, this one, this URL, same URL, you can put it in your code in client.py, in the client.py. That is nothing but base URL. Okay, let me take public endpoint code. Without authentication. Okay, now so how do we write? Public response is equal to request dot get of f of base URL slash whatever this one and slash, and what it is responding, we need to print public endpoint is now print status and comma public response dot status code, print. Actually this way I am writing. In your client, however you want, you will write. Okay, request dot get only important for you, and this response is important for you. The remaining thing you will do in your own style. You will build your own style. Base dot URL you will cook up, and the URL path also you will construct and do. But this is I am writing for our own convenience. I am writing in a small code. Okay, now public response dot JSON. I'm converting to JSON style, so it will print properly. So you want me to run? Let me run here. client.py. You see here, oh, base.url. Here also I put /path. See, and the same request will go to server also. You can see here. Okay, I have put here, right, some enters. If I run again, here it came the same way. One request came here. So we just need to quickly write that server side code, 4 lines. Okay, it's not server side code, it is a private endpoint we are trying to access. I'm sorry about that. Okay, and I am writing username and password. Directly I am giving. So allies we have, right? Underland. So I will also run the same code for wrong password. Okay, so now the same way here we have given this public response and thing, right? The same way, but we say here private response base URL / private, correct? That's it. So if this should match to your server side code exactly how you gave /private. So here also /private, and then your response. Let me quickly wrap it up. And I have put that base URL along with this request.get. I need to pass the authentication as well, right? So let me put that in multi-line. So you can write everything in one line or multi-line, it's all up to us. Authentication is equal to HTTPBasicAuth of username and the same this username. Oh, okay, I will simply say underscore username. So underscore password or underscore user is equal to this, underscore pass is equal to this. In that case, you can pass here username is equal to underscore user. Okay, password is equal to underscore pass, which means this password will go here as a variable. Now this is HTTP basic auth wrapped, and this particular request.get is called, and whatever is response we are trying to print that, right? The same thing here, we have 3 print statements we will do, but instead of public we will say private here. Private endpoint is status, like a status code this private response dot. Alright, so private response, and this endpoint we know here this /private. Okay, let's quickly run. So when you run here, it will run both, right? So first thing is 200. Second thing is this is a public endpoint, you got access. Why is this not ran? Second part. Is there a mistake? This is should be saved, otherwise this is not taking the code. Okay, let's run fresh. See the message, welcome allies. Okay, so if you know that other user ID password, you can write hello welcome 123, right? This also you can pass here. So in fact you write this way. Okay, now I saved it, otherwise if I put here, see, you can get this in VS Code. This particular auto save is not happening, you need to do manually. So you wrote welcome hello. Okay, so in case if you write a wrong password, welcome at the rate of 1 to 3 are trying to pass, and you are running the code, invalid password, right? So we have covered three cases. One is a positive case, one is a negative case, good password, wrong password, password change, different user, and public route. All the cases we have covered. Let's get into the slide. Thank you for watching our video. So insights and nuggets.
This is full working example
Demonstrates
demonstrates stateless authentication in REST APIs, handling authorization headers, route level protection using dependency injection with FastAPI, Python requests plus HTTP Basic Auth, secure password checking with secrets dot compare digest, use of 401 unauthorized and www authenticate headers for compliance. Tip:
So tip is this pattern can be used to mock or stub authentication flows before implementing WAUth 2 or JWT. This is some good example.
Summary: to summarize, we created a secure REST API with FastAPI,
And we used basic authentication to protect a route.
built a working client to consume both the public and private endpoints,
Now you have full flow client to server, server to server with authentication, authentication after authentication response also came.
this wraps up Basic Auth in practice from theory to real world use.
Okay, final note. In upcoming videos, we will cover more how other authentication style works, when to use it, and let's learn authentication simple way.
Thank you. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more Python content, and let me know in the comments if you have questions on real-time examples. Thank you.
Thank you, happy coding. That's all.
Thank you.